In this episode, Golden and I discuss Doctor Who Season 12. Full speed ahead. Welcome to the Omega Beam number 70. I'm your host, Oren Merton. I hope you're well and that your family and friends are also well. Right now is a good time to be staying in, and thankfully there is a lot of great stuff on TV. So this week, we're going to give our thoughts on the recently concluded Season 12 of Doctor Who. Now, for those of you who are real Doctor Who fans, you know that there's a lot more than 12 seasons. I mean, this is a show that's been around since the late 1960s. It's one of the oldest and most venerable science fiction shows that there is. But they started counting over with Series 1 in 2005 when they started over the new revised, rebooted Doctor Who with Chris Eccleston. So that's why this season, even though it's, been 50, 60 years, this season is considered Season 12. So as with everything, there's light spoilers. So be forewarned if you don't want any information at all. And otherwise, let's get to it. I am here with Golden to talk about Doctor Who Season 12, the latest season of Doctor Who, and the second with a female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker. We already talked about Season 11, Jodie Whittaker's first season. We liked it. So what's the verdict on her second season as the Doctor?
I kind of feel like they just decided to go off the rails. They said, you know what? We've been going along this path, but let's make it a roller coaster instead.
As if there were rails. They're very, very weak, very transparent rails.
So, I think that, early on in the season, I was just like, wow, this is kind of really way out there. Where are they going with this? But it was neat because it was refreshing. It was different. It wasn't the normal Doctor Who. And unfortunately, there may be some spoilers along the way.
Yeah, I already said medium spoilers.
Yeah.
So there'll be a couple. One of those things I wanted to spoil, which if you've been seeing any of the trailers other than the preview trailer before the series started airing, you already know this. But one of the things that surprised me right out of the gate was in episode 1, we meet the latest incarnation of the Master.
Yes.
And I was quite surprised because, how many times in the reboot of the series since 2005 has the Master, died seemingly forever, and then he's back?
He is a Time Lord cat.
Yeah. He's got 9 lives for each infinite regeneration.
Yeah, and Missy was great. Missy was great.
Oh, I adore that actress, and I adored the part,
and
yes.
This Master is still, again, he's driving. He's driving the off the walls.
Yeah, he's driving the vehicle.
Except he's not actually even looking at where the vehicle's going.
No, he's just he's in it
Although
just to have fun.
I do honestly believe that he has his agenda. He has his reasons. He's not just the archetypal villain. There are reasons behind what he's doing, and because he thinks that this is what he really needs to do.
It's also difficult, but interesting, in a way, to keep track of all the different Masters' relationships with the Doctor. In the David Tennant days, John Sims' Master was basically, I want to lord it all over you. And then, different ones were like, I want to kill you.
And somehow the Master and the Doctor are always on the same timeline. He and River weren't necessarily. They always had to try and figure out, well, where are you? Where am I? But they've never really addressed. You could still have Missy show up because all of a sudden this is,
Well, John Sim and Missy were both Masters at the same time in either the finale or the second to last of the Peter Capaldi
I don't think
era.
they really play with it as much as they could with that.
Yeah.
Because they could have a Master from way back just show up and interact with the Doctor because the timeline is so fluid.
Right.
But no, I think, and I apologize if I mispronounce his name, Sacha Dhawan, but he's wonderful.
He's a spectacular master. Yeah. I have to say, in the modern era, they've had just so many great masters.
Oh,
they've had John Sim. They've had Michelle. I'm going to forget her last name. Godinez? Maybe not. Gomez? I don't remember. I believe it sounded Spanish, but I thought she was a spectacular Missy. I think that the current actor is a spectacular master as well. Just really, a lot of Doctor Who is about great casting. And I really do think in most cases, they really get the regulars and the recurring guest stars right. They really just nail it.
You had it right. It was Michelle Gomez.
Yep. They've all been great. And I think all the ones playing the companions, we already said how much we like them. The actors are Bradley Walsh, Tosin Cole, Mandip Gill.
So you have Ryan, who's the stepson of Graham. And then you have Yasmin, and Yasmin is just, her character is, there are at least 2 times that she has seen, this is what I need to do. This is this is going to probably, I just need to do this. I'm going to step blindly through this doorway because that's what I should do. That is the right thing to do. And it's not, I'm going to wait for the Doctor to come rescue me. It's just, this is what I need to do. And I think that makes her character just amazing.
I think that in this season, one of the things that I liked is that the companions did do a lot of the sort of Doctor saving, if you will. I think especially in the earlier seasons before the reboot, the companion or companions were often there either as the implied viewer, that they were there just so they could ask questions so the Doctor could explain the plot and what's going on, or they were there to be misters or mistresses in distress. And I think that over time, and really well done with this particular season, they are actors. They are not simply taking orders.
They're taking it upon themselves.
Yeah, a lot of initiative. They're making a lot of choices. And not all of them are right, but all of them are logical, and all of them are done from the heart. And I think it makes a big difference. And it's made this series eminently watchable.
No, I think it's incredible. I think that... And they each have their talents. They each have their strengths. And through it all, Graham just kind of remains calm and is like, okay, well, maybe this is what we should do. And okay.
Yeah. Yeah, even when he thinks he's imminently facing death, he does it with just a great dignity, just sort of, a sense that, okay, well, it's been a good life.
I just had a really interesting thought. What if, with the Master, the Doctor's daughter shows back up?
Huh, that would be funny.
I still keep waiting.
The convoluted webs we all weave. With the Doctor's daughter married to a doctor, and her father was a doctor, and all kinds of crazy stuff.
I think that would be kind of interesting.
I also have to say, now in the early days of Doctor Who, the effects and the visuals were laughable. They looked, if maybe for non-extreme big budget American television, they were pretty good, but for an American audience, even in the 70s and 80s, those effects were, high school theater level effects. But ever since 2005, they've been cheap but okay. In fact, it was kind of almost a running gag when you're describing a sci-fi show that you would say, oh, this one has Doctor Who level effects. So that sort of would tell people that there's CGI, it's obvious CGI, but it's not that bad. I do have to say, this season, even the last season, but even more so this season, whether it's because the state of the art is just getting that much better, the series gets more budget, or both, I thought the visuals this season were really, really good. And it enhances the experience because you're creating a fantasy universe. You're creating a universe that doesn't exist. And when the visuals, when you aren't pulled out of it by obviously cartoony visuals, it helps create the entire environment. And I thought they did really well this time. I really think it was really good visually. And I love the music, too. I mentioned that as we were watching various shows, that I thought some of the music sometimes was
I know
really,
you're not
really good.
necessarily a fan of the opening sequence.
Yeah.
But I think it very much fits who she is as the Doctor.
Mm-hmm. They do. I will give them that every Doctor has its own personality, and the opening sequence and the specific arrangement of the theme fits that particular Doctor. Speaking of fitting that particular Doctor, I think that the way that they have done the TARDIS for the 13th Doctor is really good. I enjoy the way her TARDIS looks. It went from kind of the steampunky TARDIS of the 12th Doctor and 11th Doctor to a more almost cavernous, mystical TARDIS this time.
Okay.
So I appreciate that. I appreciate how it reflects her personality and also how it just keeps it fresh and keeps it interesting.
And I want to go I'm going to go to one episode in particular.
Okay.
Because Graham is beamed up or transported onto this ship. And lo and behold, Jack Harkness.
That's
and him
right.
walking up to him and giving him a smack of on the lips.
That's because he thinks
it's just. I mean, it's just awesome.
I don't want to give away why he did that, but it's always fun.
But it was just people. I'm sure that our Doctor Who fans miss Jack Harkness.
Sure.
And to have him come back, and at least for us, it was a complete surprise because we didn't hear any spoilers. I thought that was,
and we've just given spoilers to you. So
well, we told you ahead of time there would be. So I thought that was just that episode with just what Jack's trying to do.
Right.
And you still kind of don't know exactly what he's planning on doing.
It was fun to see him both as a callback to what was and also doing something new and in a new situation. So bringing the Master, though it's a different Master, bringing back Jack Harkness, bringing back some classic villains, the Cybermen, there's other creatures from older Doctor Who's, not the Silurians, but rhino-faced guys who were there with David Tennant, whose name I already forgot. But yeah, I mean, they both harken back and take it forward. And like you said, it's just a wild ride. It's not, in a way, they all try and have an arc, a through line from first episode to last. And this one certainly does. But boy, it goes in a lot of curves on the way there. That's for sure.
It's funny, so I did a quick search. Rhino villain Doctor Who. So what comes up is a photo of the Rhino-looking character with Jodie Whittaker. Doctor Who. New photos show return of a famous villain. But it didn't actually say the name.
I wonder if the person who did the picture even knew.
The Rhino-headed intergalactic police. The Judoon.
Judoon, that's right. They're the Judoon. I'd forgotten that they are the Judoon. Yeah, so the Judoon show up.
Well, they're the Galactic Police. It's not that they're really necessarily a villain.
Right.
But they have their standards.
And their villainousness is in the fact that they are totally and completely inflexible. That they have a mission and that's it. And they will not vary. They will not take ancillary or subsequent evidence. It's just they do what they do. And the Doctor, who works in between, often finds herself at odds. Well, thank you, Golden.
You are welcome. I look forward to seeing what they have in store for us, because they kind of left that door. Actually, no, I was going to say they left the door wide open, but no, they blew the door off the hinges there, kind of.
And that's it for this episode. You can find the show notes at theomegabeam.com, number 70. If you liked this episode, please leave a review in the Apple Podcasts app or wherever you listen to podcasts. These reviews help people who like this kind of thing find our podcast. If you have any comments or suggestions, please drop us a line at info@theomegabeam.com. Now, I always sign off with the same sign off every time, but I always mean it every time. And I just want to say that there's a lot of confusion right now, a lot of concern over the coronavirus and COVID-19 and all of the rest. Take care of yourselves, be safe, be hygienic, and when I say be good to yourselves and each other, remember, we need to take care of ourselves, because when we stay healthy, that helps everyone else stay healthy as well. And it will, what they say, flatten the curve, meaning this pandemic has to run its course. It's going to keep going, and it's going to eventually drop off. And we want to just make the number of people that get it before we have vaccines and before it drops off to be the smallest number possible. And we want to make sure that when people are sick, we have all the resources. There's there's hospital beds, all the things that we need. So thanks everybody for staying in, for watching great sci-fi and fantasy TV. That's what we're going to do. And we will catch you next time.